Alright guys, so a couple of essential things you need to add to your Filipino martial arts empty hand flow actually don't come from Filipino martial arts. We're going to be taking from Western boxing. Whether you say it's Western boxing or Thai boxing or whatever boxing, it doesn't really matter. We're going to be working with striking. We're going to be teaching you guys some boxing orientation drills. We're going to see how you can practice it with a partner, and ultimately we're going to see how you can integrate that into your Filipino martial arts flow. So I'm here with my partner James. First combination is going to require a cross. We're going to have an uppercut, and we're going to have a hook. In the standard 6 system, we call that the 2-5-4. So we're going to practice it a couple times, nice and easy. We have 2-5-4, nice and sharp. One more time for repetition. Good, okay. Now the second combination we're going to work with is going to require a hook, an uppercut, and a hook. So that's going to be a 3, a 6, and another 3 here. Okay, so we practice the same orientation. We go 3-6-3. One more time. Nice and sharp. Good. So when we practice our boxing combinations, we want to make sure that we can practice it with a partner like this, whether you have boxing gloves or not, so that we can develop a strong attribute in striking before we assimilate it into our flow. It's going to have a nice strong background. You're going to be confident. You're not going to second guess what you're doing. Absolutely the worst thing that can happen. Now when we integrate it, let's just say I'm working off of the jab cross and I'm working with a common Filipino martial arts entry. Okay? And usually what happens in an entry is I work off of these strikes and eventually I turn it into a grapple. Now in this scenario, off of the jab cross, I try to do what's called an entry 4 with a gunting. I come over the top here, and normally what would happen is I'd come back down here and do the whole flow here. But in this time, I come over top, my partner reacts and he takes a step back. He creates distance between us. Now, I'm not going to look for the grapple. The grappling is a lost cause at this point, okay? Unless you have a very strong grappling background, you're not going to look for this technique anymore. So I'm looking for the technique that has the least amount of downtime in this position. And for me, it's going to be striking. So from here, I'm going to use the first combination. I'm going to go 2, 5, and 4. That's going to allow me to progress forward and cut that distance that he created. And the only reason why I'm using the 2-5-4 is to demonstrate the amount of angles that are possible in this scenario. Because we're quite distant, because there's quite a bit of space for me to work, I can pretty much pick and choose as long as it makes sense to my body. Now, if we work on something else, let's say we work off of a jab hook or a wide cross, we're going to be on the inside this time. So we're going to work off of this, and I shield here. Now, in this position, again, I'm looking for the least amount of downtime possible. At the same time, when I'm using my 3-6-3, I'm following the line that's already been drawn. Okay? I'm not recreating anything. I'm just working with what I got. So I'm going to use a 3, 6, and one more 3 here. Okay? And now, not all the time you're going to be boxing. Not all the time you're going to actually be punching. Sometimes it's not a good idea to punch barehanded, and we all know how much damage you can do to your knuckles when you do that. But the most important part to this is once you understand how to box, when you understand how to use it in your flow, you understand the possibilities that it creates. So if we work with that reference one more time, I'm on the inside here of James's hook. Now, I don't have to actually punch. I might punch initially, I might palm thrust, whatever it is, but I can use this to scoop the head back up and then follow through with an elbow here, right? Depends on the distance, depends on the application. It becomes a variety of things based off of the template I took from Western boxing and the template I have from Filipino martial arts. And so above all else, the final takeaway that I want you guys to have is you have to be able to adapt in various scenarios, whether it's competition, whether it's self-defense. You want to be able to adapt and make sure that you have enough tools in the bag to keep yourself flowing without having to think. Thinking is very difficult to do when you're under pressure, and so you want to be able to check your ego at the door and make sure that because I have 9 entries in Kali doesn't mean that one of those 9 have to work. Sometimes it's not a good idea to grapple. Sometimes it's not a good idea to strike, and even sometimes it's not a good idea to use a weapon. And so your discretion as well as your training will ultimately help you make the right decision when confronted in tournaments, confronted in competition sparring, or eventually confronted in self-defense. So, hope you guys were able to take away something from that. Make sure you guys train as much as you can outside of the areas that you're comfortable in to make yourself as well-rounded as possible. If you guys haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, catch you guys then.